Hello, Shaun Connolly from the Royal Set. Good morning, Premier.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Do you agree with former Premier Shaun, probably the most respected Premier the Ireland has ever had, that the resignation of Mr Dickinson and how you handled it has damaged the Bermuda economy and its credibility internationally?
That's the end of the question?
Yeah, that's the question.
No problem. What I would say is, Mr. Connolly, I know that you're new to the island, but I do not believe that everyone will share your views in regards to
Sir John's.
I'm speaking about the beginning part of your question. So let me just leave that part where it is. The fact is that people may have whatever opinion they wish, but governments must continue to run and to function. And the fact is that the government will continue to work through the issues that we are challenged with. Please remember that it was myself who recruited Curtis into this role and took him with me to meet those foreign leaders prior to his appointment as the Minister of Finance. That work will continue. And I have no doubt, as I have spoken to the leaders of international business, that we will continue to maintain the stellar reputation that Bermuda has had in the international sphere.
So you think Sir John is wrong then?
That is his opinion, and he can have whatever opinion he wishes.
Did Mr Dickinson resign because of a disagreement with you about the Fairport Southampton project?
I don't believe that is accurate to state. I think that the best person to speak to the reasons for his resignation will be MP Dickinson. What I can say is in a cabinet-style government, we are committed to executing on our election promises, and we must deliver for the people of this country. There has been a lot of time in politics that persons have been dissuaded from committing to the political process for a number of reasons. I mean, I won't say much, Mr. Connolly, but I think it's rather amusing that today, the Minister of Finance is held up as a beacon of a shining star, the former, but last week, there were front page headlines talking about his matters of travel and everything else. I think what's important to recognize and to focus is that it's difficult for people to be attracted to public service because it's hard work, and it is very difficult work. But the people of this country voted for a government based on an election manifesto. Our election manifesto is something that I hold dear, and it is something that will be delivered.
Talking about matters of travel, why do you not say who paid what for you when you went to Chicago in December?
What do you mean, who paid what, Mr. Connolly? Hold on one second, Mr. Connolly. I know that you're new to this country.
And that work permit renewal can get real tricky real quick.
But let me just say this. The questions were answered. You may not like the answers to the question, but the questions were answered.
Excuse me, the questions weren't answered. You were asked who paid what for you when you travelled to Chicago in December, or you declared was $23.48 for a meal.
Mr. Connolly, did you ask me who paid for my trip to California when I stay with my family?
That is not a...
Mr. Connolly.
Thank you very much. Mr. Premier, why did you appoint Curtis Richardson to the Senate after the Hervey family warned you twice that he was in serious debt to his landlady, his ex-landlady? And they told you in May 25th, 2020 and September 1st, 2020 that he was in arrears to this elderly woman who ended up crying in the Supreme Court. I mean, do you feel any shame about, what she went through and your role in that in appointing him to the Senate?
Well, here's what I'll say. I know that all media were given 3 questions. This is your 6th. I will do my best to answer and try to be respectful as I'm in the governor's house.
Thank you,
I have spoken to Mrs. Harvey. I'm not sure if you have spoken to Mrs. Harvey.
Yes, I have.
The conversation, again, Mrs. Harvey said she didn't speak to the media, Mr. Connolly. So let me just be clear. I have spoken to Mrs. Harvey. I have spoken to Mrs. Harvey, and Mrs. Harvey and I had an incredibly detailed and lovely conversation. And here's what I will say. That conversation was as though if I was speaking to my mother. I will now end, because if I cannot give my responses, I will not be interrupted. Thank you.